think she's making the pot, isn't she? Unless she's just fine.
She will.
Okay, I'll wait.
Bring the penny.
Live?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Welcome, everyone. The time is 5:01, so I'll call the meeting to order. I'll jump to item number 2, declaration of pecuniary interest, just reminding everybody to declare at that time if you come across one. I don't believe we have any delegations. So I will move forward to item 4, which is the adoption of the committee meeting minutes. I have a motion moved by committee member Plympton, seconded by Councilor Wolvette, that the minutes be adopted by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee, and that those confidential minutes of the closed session of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And that is for the meeting minutes of June 1st, 2023, and the supplementary meeting minutes from the same date. Is there any questions or concerns, Mayor Atkinson?
A couple of questions, if I may, Mr. Chair, through you to Mr. Sabansky. The minutes of June the 1st, the environmental committee meeting minutes. There was a note in there about Neptune and the work that they're doing, and I just wondered, are we still on target for their start date and for when we feel it'll be completed?
Through the chair, we are expecting to receive our first shipment of meters within the coming weeks. And we are expecting Neptune to start at the end of August or early September. Notices have been mailed out through the water and sewer bills to the affected property owners, and there will be secondary notices sent out shortly.
Good. I know people have been asking, that's why I brought that up. And I have another one, Mr. Chair, if I may, through on the supplementary meeting on June the 1st. There was a notice about the stops having been installed in the water line. Timeline, what's the status on that? Has that been?
I know our water foreman is currently working with the company to get everything installed so that they can do the work to accommodate it. So we're expecting it to occur in the next 2 months.
So it's not done yet. All right, I'm drained.
Anything else for the minutes? Seeing nothing, so I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Carried. I will move on to section 5, business arising from previous meetings. Is there anything else that anyone had any questions about from where we ended up? Seeing nothing, so I'll continue on. I will move on to item 6. I have a motion moved by Councilor Wolvette, seconded by committee member Jeff DeVlute, that the accounts as listed be received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee. That's the Plympton-Wyoming water list for May 2023 and June 2023, and the Plympton-Wyoming sewer list for May 2023 and June 2023. I'll open that up for questions or comments. I'll start on my right. Questions or comments? No comments. Anything on my left? Mayor Atkinson?
Couple of questions, if I may. What could you inform the uninformed what a puppy panel is?
Which the payable are you looking at, sir?
That would be the water payables in May, I believe, Sabansky. I think it was back on in the subdivision and Radcliffe subdivision.
Yep, so a puppy panel will house electronic items used to read, measure, and communicate with the pumps. What that would have been for is we recently finally installed the flight SCADA system in that pump station. So that is housed in what's referred to as a puppy panel. So that would be the invoice that you're looking at there.
And I see we had to snake out a sewer line on Broadway Street. Was that turned out to be our issue, or was that the residents?
So the sewer, through the chair, the sewer bylaw dictates that if a sewer becomes blocked and the block is caused by the activities of the property owner, i.e. grease, debris, etc. That is the property owner's responsibility to clear the blockage. However, it dictates that if the blockage has occurred due to a defect on the pipe in the town's property, the town will pay for to remove the blockage. So that one, it's to the best of my recollection, it would have been caused by a defect in our pipe, and therefore we paid for it directly.
Okay, thank you. Also, Chair, if I may, when I'm continuing here, the June payables. There was a 8-inch re-entry line stop on Broadway.
Yes, sir.
What's the history on that one, if I may, Mr. Sabansky?
So, thank you through the chair, if I may. A number of years ago, our contractor and our Public Works Department installed stopples and line stops on Front Street and on Plympton Street to accommodate the future construction projects that are going on now. What they found is that because of the asbestos cement pipe, they did not restrain the pipes with mechanical restrainers. When you clamp an asbestos concrete pipe, it has a tendency to crush, so we avoid putting restrainers on it. You use concrete blocks to hold it into place more often. While the layout of the pipe where it connects to the Plympton Street project did not allow for the pipes to be properly restrained. So they were worried that if they cut into the new pipes when they're connecting together, the pressure on the other side of the valve would push the pipes loose and cause a significant leak. So to prevent pressure being on the closest valve to the excavation, they went to the next closest valve, which was the old stopple that had been buried to accommodate the project previously. And they reinstated the line stop at that location to hold the water back further away from the construction site to avoid those pressures possibly dislodging the pipe during construction.
Thank you for that explanation. My last one this time is there was a house on Plympton Street that we did quite a bit of work, EXP Services and Hurricane SM. We probably spent close to $6,000 on that. Is there any history on that one? Was that obviously out of the road that we had to do work on that?
Yes, sir. So that was part of the Plympton Street reconstruction project. If I am not mistaken, that is when we were. I don't know why EXP is on there, and I'm gonna have to find that invoice. EXP is doing work on there because they're our soils tester for that area.
Right.
So they made a reference the address in regards to where they were testing near. But we did have a hurricane out digging up and exposing some of our storm sewers, re-camera them to see where people had connected their sump pumps and their storm lines into the sewer, so that when we came by with the new sewer, we could find them, locate them, and connect them to the new sewer.
Now, is that part under that same project then it was?
Yes, sir.
An FYI question, are we on schedule on that project, Mr. Sabansky?
I have been keeping in contact with the contractor on site as well as my staff who are on site. Everyone feels that they are capable of finishing before the October 15th deadline. Currently, they are actually shaping the roadways and preparing it for asphalt. All the water main is placed, all the storm sewer has been placed. So they're actually hoping they'll be done before the end of August.
Good, that's good. Thank you, that's great.
Anything we Councilor Rebecca?
Just a couple of things. I know this might sound like a stupid question, but where's the water building?
So on Front Street, we have two facilities. The newer facility further to the west is what we refer to as the water building. It houses most of our water stores, and therefore we've allocated that building to the water department. The smaller, older building to the east houses a lot of the parks equipment. So we have allocated that building to the Parks Department. So the bills for the older building go to Parks, the bills for the newer building goes to Water and Sewer.
Yeah, I never heard that phrase before, because I was looking at the internet and the phone charges, so just wondering what that was. Anyways, thanks for that explanation. Sorry, I didn't know where it was. The other one here, there's a credit in all this totals, was a credit issued for meters return credit. $16,385.
Yes, sir.
Is that supposed to be in that total there, or should that be a negative? For credit returned?
There is a very, 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 very small negative there.
Okay.
So it is a credit. We ordered a number of meters. Some of those meters had connections that we did not typically use. So we sent back those meters.
I thought that was a fly on my screen.
Nope, that is a very, very small negative sign.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. That's all I have.
So if you have nothing else, we've got that motion on the floor for May, June for water and sewer. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. So we'll move on to section 7, staff reports, and we do have one staff report. I have a motion on the floor from committee member Jeff DeVluke, seconded by Councillor Bob Wolvet. That the report prepared by Adam Sabansky, Director of Public Works, dated July 28th, 2023, regarding a draft bylaw to regulate the supply of drinking water in the town of Plympton-Wyoming be received, endorsed, and forwarded to council for approval. So I believe that staff report was attached. Thanks, Nicole, for attaching that afterwards. So we did have that staff report in advance. So I will start on my left if there's any questions for Mr. Sabansky.
No question, just an observation. Congratulations to the staff to pick that up. I think something like this should have been in place long ago. And glad that it was done and now it will be in place.
Through the Chair, if I may, yeah, staff has been working on this for almost 5 years, off and on, trying to get it forward. We finally, with the meter program coming in, we needed to have the official power to do what we practiced in the past. So we felt that it was important to get this bylaw finished and out the door prior to the meter program starting.
Anything from people? No. No. Nothing? Okay. With that, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That's carried. We have nothing under section 8 for bylaws, so I'll move on to section 9. And we have a motion on the floor moved by Councillor Bob Wolvet, seconded by Mayor Gary Atkinson. That the minutes from the laws meeting be received for May 25th, 2023 and June 29th, 2023. Is there any questions on the floor for those minutes? Seeing nothing, all in favor? That's carried. See anything under section 10 for correspondence action required, so I'll move on to section 11. I have 11.1, a motion by Councillor Bob Wolvet, seconded by committee member Jeff DeVluke, that the correspondence relating to recommended reading and routine approval and information items not otherwise addressed by resolution be noted as received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee and filed accordingly. We have the monthly report for June and May.
I'm just looking at the report for the month of issued July the 7th. Wyoming wastewater treatment collection system, the Plympton-Wyoming wastewater treatment plant was not in compliance for the months of June. With exceedance on both of E. coli and TSA regulatory requirements. Any comments? Are we back on track or are we?
Chair, if I may, I'd like our drinking water or wastewater operating authority to answer that question.
Please.
So unfortunately, we had our main blower go down at the Plympton plant 2 months ago now. And we're running on the old blowers that we have there, which are undersized for what we have. And that produced considerable treatment challenges. Now, however, as of today, that our good blower is back up and running. So we should see those improve as well. And actually, the last several results are back online for being in compliance.
So to add to that, a number of years ago, when we replaced that blower, the methodology which was used to replace that blower was bigger is better. Unfortunately, with air systems, that's not necessarily always true. So what we've observed and the blower supplier confirmed is that the blower was oversized for what it was being used for. It was running at a very low percentage of its capacity. For an electrical motor and blower of that nature, is very hard on the system to run at its low end of capacity. So it started burning out parts quite regularly. So this is the second time we repaired it.
That's correct.
It's only about 5 years old. So, and the supplier says this will be a consistent issue. that blower is just not specified correctly for that facility. So we are already agreed to upgrade the wastewater treatment plant next year. The engineering is already ongoing for that. So what we will do as part of the improvement is we will have the engineer size appropriate blowers. And as part of the bigger overall improvement project, we will ensure that at least one new blower, if not two blowers, are installed. So that way we have a duty and a backup blower ready to operate at that facility, properly sized.
So you do feel like ran for like 5 years, was it, Joe? And then,
Yeah, so I believe it was installed in 2016. It ran for 3 years. And we had so it's a magnetic bearing, so it just sits there and hovers. And it failed in 2019, replaced it then, and now we have just replaced it again. To give kind of most blowers that size run anywhere from 50 to 80%. That blower, because of how oversized it is, we run it at 0.5%. So that's how oversized that blower is. And unfortunately, because of that, it's probably gonna be a continual issue till we get something replaced. But we were talking with the supplier today when they were in, they gave us some suggestions on how to maybe prolong it a little longer. But eventually it'll be a problem again if we don't change out one of our other blowers, our backup ones, so.
somebody was a good salesperson. But you feel comfortable you'll have the new ones in place hopefully soon.
I would hope so. They're pretty easy to come by. It's just getting it sized properly this time to make sure that we get what we need. Oversizing.
I think it's important that we do it through the capital project. Last time we replaced it, it was quite a process to get it in and out. So having the general contractor take care of that when they already have all the heavy equipment on site to do so would be much more efficient. I'm pretty confident that blower, given it lasted 3 and 4 years, should last until the capital project later next year. So
Yes.
Okay, second part of the question there on your report again, the same second paragraph down about the ultraviolet bulb burning out, several of them. Now it talks here about channel cleanouts and that. Is that something now that is regular maintenance to?
That is a regular weekly maintenance item.
Okay.
It's performed on a regular basis. With the warmer weather, it builds up a lot faster. And it's just making sure that we stay on top of it.
So just to follow up on that, like you have some kind of a program that you stay on top of it, something where you sign off, something that you.
Yeah, so we have a maintenance program that generates a work order for us. And that comes out weekly, so.
Can I ask another one, Mr. Chair, please? Moving down to the next water monthly residential calls. The middle of June there, was that smell out there on Queen Street, 3438 Queen Street? Sounds like you made some adjustments. Has that been causing us a problem a fair bit in the past, or just kind of a one-off?
No, so it has been
That's the one.
yeah, right down at the end there. That's been a continual issue. We do have a BioAir unit on site in the pump station there that is running. We have just been approved to purchase some manhole inserts that have a media in them that actually eats H2S. We're just waiting on delivery on those, and those will be all installed in the surrounding manholes in the area. So hopefully that'll help mitigate some of the odor down there, as well as there's an overflow manhole for that pump station. And there has been a duct bill finally ordered for that. And we're again just waiting on delivery on that now. So once we get it, we'll install that. That should actually help quite a bit down there, I would think. In the meantime, we've just cut a foam plug to go in the pipe there. So if it does ever overflow in heavy rain events or whatever, that water will just push that foam plug out. But in the meantime, it's in there now and it seems to be helping a little bit. I don't know if we've had too many complaints down there lately.
Oh, and with the wet weather and our infiltration issues, that sewer that is the problem would have been very well cleared out. So it'll likely take a few weeks of hot, dry weather to start the sewer gas problem again.
I think a lot of the issue down there is it's such a low area. There's not a lot of air movement down and around there. So I think that contributes to the issues, but we are doing what we can to try and help mitigate that. So.
No, I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Anything on my right? No further comment. No. So we have that motion on the floor. I will call for the vote. All in favor? Move on to. Yeah. very funny, Counselor.
These two already went to council, so do you need them?
No, so the motion accepting all the recommended reading should cover all the recommended reading there.
That's fine.
So. I think. Like all 11.
Yes, so the motion to routine approvals and acceptance and filed accordingly, that should cover 11.1 through 11.4.
Was there any other questions about any of those other ones? Okay, perfect, we're good. So I'll move on to item 12 for new business. I'll just look to my right. Anything business?
Nope.
No, I have nothing, Mr. Chair.
I guess I just have one question. Have we had any uptick on the sump pump grant since the first initial?
Yes, we seem to be approving payments on a couple each month. So they should be shown in your payables that as well.
And anything from staff? Your hand up for new business?
Yeah, so we have been dealing with a challenge on Muskoka Trail for probably 10 years now. And one of the property owners is getting frustrated, and I don't blame him, it's been a while. So it appears like at Muskoka Trail that the soils in the area are higher in corrosiveness. Back a number of years ago, the town of Plympton-Wyoming specified that copper services be installed for all water services. Since my time here, I've moved away from copper services. What we found is the lower quality copper that you get nowadays, combined with acidic soils and potentially stray current from houses from their electrical infrastructure, causes the copper to erode extremely fast. It turns green, which is actually not good because that is copper arsenic, and it gets pit holes in it and it just breaks and water spews out. So we've already replaced, I think, 3 or 4 on Muskoka Trail, but there is one broken at towards the end of the street, and we haven't been able to find out which service it is. We know it's leaking because the catch base, the sub drains that go into the catch basins are constantly having water flow out of them. So Jacobs over the next few weeks will be hiring a hydrovac company to expose all the saddles. So that's where the water service connects to the main to see if they can find where the water is coming from. We will repair the leak that we have today, but likely in next year's capital project, I'm going to put in a line to replace all those copper services with plastic services in next year's water budget.
So is it any, sorry,
Sorry, I'll go to Mayor Axon and Council that out.
see his hand.
So not related to that issue, but to another one I just thought of. I was approached by some residents on Ontario Street to the west, down by the ballpark. And they say that there's some issues with the roads down there and some of the infrastructure. There's been a lot of flooding and stuff in that. Our infrastructure and everything good there. Like I know we had some trouble with some sewers back in that area. I just question whether everything is well in that area, why things are things shifting around down there? Have we had any input or does any of that come to light lately?
So we did repair a catch basin and catch basin lead there just a while ago.
Right.
My understanding was it was clogged with roots, so staff dug it up and replaced it. We have investigated a sewer backup in that area before, and we do monitor that area specifically because of that backup. We haven't seen any adverse issues with the sanitary sewer, but we do know that that area has been prone, so we do check on it regularly. The infrastructure in that area is quite old. It's just like most of the town, and that road is targeted for replacement at some time, but it's not on the short-term plan at this time,
So it would be at least 5 years out,
at
probably.
least.
Okay,
We are aware of the drainage issues in the sense, and as such, we repaired the catch basin lead. And we're also aware of the sanitary issues out there. And although we see no evidence of why it's backing up, we do keep an eye on it just in case it occurs again.
so it is monitored regularly.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Chair. I did think that. Sorry about.
Councilor, you have something to go back to for Ms. Overshaw?
Back to the copper line out there in Muskoka Trail. So is that an issue all around there, like out on Baldwin and like most of those, including my own home, is copper line coming in to the house now. Other homes, I guess, a lot of them are plastic, right? But so is that a problem in the whole area? Have you heard?
Not necessarily. It seems to be a problem in subdivisions that were built between 2010 and 2015. So that would be Huron Crest Phase 1 and Muskoka Trail. We haven't had any of these breaks observed at any other subdivisions.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, so we'll move on. We do have a item under section 13 for closed. Read this motion first. I have a motion moved by Mayor Gary Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Bob Wolvett. The committee move into an in-camera meeting pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons. Item A, litigation matters, section 239(2)(e). Litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. All in favor? And that's carried. So for anyone watching, we will be moving into an